Is it possible that the decisions we make each day, from the mundane to the monumental, are not truly ours? Could it be that our choices are simply the result of predetermined processes in our brains? Let's explore the concept of free will. For that, we need a definition first. Free will is a philosophical concept referring to the ability of individuals to make choices that are not determined by past events, external forces, or natural laws. Essentially, it involves the capacity to act according to one's own preferences and reasons without being constrained by necessity or fate. This notion is central to many discussions on morality, justice, and personal responsibility. It underpins the belief that individuals can be held accountable for their actions, as they have the freedom to choose differently. The debate over whether humans truly possess free will, or whether our actions are predetermined by biological, environmental, or psychological factors, remains a fundamental and ongoing discussion in philosophy, psychology, and neuroscience. To discuss this further, we propose a following definition. Free will is an ability of information processing systems, brain circuits or any other information processing circuits, to produce novel and non-random decisions, solutions to the existing problem, without being predetermined. It is an interesting take and introduces a unique perspective, particularly from a cognitive or computational standpoint. It emphasizes the creation of novel solutions as a key aspect of free will, suggesting an element of creativity or unpredictability that aligns with certain modern theories in neuroscience and artificial intelligence. However, there are a few issues to discuss further. Traditional definitions of free will usually emphasize the aspect of moral choice and the capacity to have acted differently in a given situation. That is not in conflict with our definition, as in the decision-making process the individual can apply many layers of his own evaluation of consequences of the contemplated decisions, thus changing the weights and the outcome. Individual can also randomize the order or number of additional evaluations. This would lead to capacity to act differently, while still acting with structural soundness without degenerating into randomness. Thus, individuals or entities can alter their decision-making processes in complex ways, including slightly adjusting their evaluative criteria. This aligns with traditional notions of free will, as it captures the capacity to make different choices under the same circumstances. This flexibility and adaptability could be seen as a form of cognitive liberty, a crucial aspect of free will. Our definition of free will tries to navigate a middle path between determinism and randomness. As always in life, all the interesting things happen there, in the middle. By stating that the decisions must be non-random, without them being predetermined, the definition indeed attempts to navigate a middle path between determinism, where everything is caused by prior states, and randomness, where actions occur randomly without structure or purpose. This is a crucial point. We do not recognize as free will actions that are with certainty caused by prior states. We do not recognize also actions that are just random, as they would lead to a random walk if executed. The definition of free will proposed here doesn't recognize either of these extremes. We are looking for middle ground, which could be achieved by applying some ingenious algorithm to the process. Evolutionary algorithm, well known to computer scientists, could be one example of such an algorithm. This example and analogy to an evolutionary process is quite useful in our discussion. Evolutionary algorithms are designed to generate solutions that are neither completely determined nor entirely random, but instead evolve through iterative processes of selection based on performance criteria. This example aptly illustrates a system where outcomes are not strictly predetermined, but are just guided by underlying rules or goals. It suggests that free will could be akin to the application of an evolutionary algorithm, where outcomes evolve based on some performance criteria. Opening the definition for inclusion of all information processing systems allows the definition to apply to artificial intelligence and other non-biological entities. This is a modern take, extending the discussion of free will to non-human agents. It is increasingly relevant but may also require additional philosophical and ethical context to address consciousness and intentionality in machines. We will not discuss consciousness at this stage, as it itself is not properly defined, but note that ethical context can be programmed, learned or developed into AI systems, and intentionality can be achieved by proper goal-setting algorithms. The suggestion that ethical context can be programmed or learned by AI systems addresses a significant aspect of modern discussions about artificial intelligence. This touches on the possibility that machines might not only make decisions, but also evaluate them against learned or programmed ethical standards. That is a fundamental requirement if we are to consider AI in future discussions of free will. This definition of free will has offered a unique perspective, particularly from a cognitive or computational standpoint. It has highlighted the capacity for moral choice and the ability to act differently under the same circumstances. To remind you, our proposed definition of free will is an ability of information processing systems to produce novel and non-random decisions without being predetermined. It navigates a middle path between determinism and randomness, suggesting that free will could operate somewhat like an evolutionary algorithm. And finally, it opens the definition of free will to include artificial intelligence and other non-biological entities, introducing new philosophical and ethical considerations. Our discussion suggests a model of free will that integrates traditional philosophical approaches with modern computational and cognitive theories. This hybrid view could effectively bridge the gap between humanistic perspectives and more mechanistic views from AI and neuroscience. It allows for a more inclusive and applicable understanding of free will, potentially applicable across both biological and artificial entities. This approach broadens the definition and also enhances its relevance in contemporary ethical and technological contexts. In sum, our definition provides a fresh lens to view free will, particularly appealing to those interested in cognitive science and artificial intelligence. So, next time you find yourself pondering over a decision, remember the complexity and beauty of the process that is happening within your brain. It is not just about choosing between A or B, but about the intricate dance of cognitive liberty, the subtle balance between determinism and randomness, and the universality of decision-making processes. And who knows, maybe your coffee maker someday will be exercising a little bit of free will too. Please tell us whether you agree to our proposed definition of free will, and if not, how would you suggest to improve it? Looking forward to your contribution. With best regards. Goodbye.